water for you.
Thank you. Can I actually have a straw, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. People think of disability as the worst thing that can happen to someone. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep. Something that is to be feared, something they would never want to experience themselves, something that's even worse than death. I'm Sarah Todd Hammer, and this is my story. I don't think it should be viewed that way when there are so many beautiful parts about disability, even amidst the struggles of disability. I'm Sarah Todd Hammer, and today I'm going to be sharing pieces of my life with you that I've never shared before. When I was 8 years old, I was at my weekly ballet class after school. I'd had a completely normal day, and then all of a sudden got a really bad head and neck ache. On my way out of the dance studio, I reached down to adjust my tights, and my arms and hands just stopped working out of nowhere. I woke up the next morning and also couldn't move my legs, so I was completely paralyzed from the neck down out of nowhere. I was eventually diagnosed with acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM for short, which is a neuroimmunological disorder that's caused by a virus attacking the spinal cord. I've clearly recovered a lot. I'm walking. I did get back into dancing a little bit. I still have paralysis in my arms and hands. I can't lift my shoulders, so my arms don't really go up higher than this. I can't move my left hand at all. I had scoliosis and reduced lung function. That's how my disability now affects me every day. I never questioned whether I would go to college. I just always had this attitude of like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make this happen. Going to college for me was definitely scarier than I would say for the average person who doesn't have a disability. At home, my mom was helping me wash my hair and helping me get dressed, tie my shoes, and make food. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna find a way. I do need a fair amount of help with just kind of basic daily physical tasks. I rely on friends and roommates a lot, and then also just sometimes even strangers. Until my senior year of college, I never thought too much about how much I was relying on other people. It felt good to ask friends for help. It felt more like I was being an adult, doing things more for myself, even though I wasn't completely. I am always thinking about other people's schedules. This roommate has class at 8 in the morning, so she won't be there tomorrow morning if I need help with something. But I know that roommate has class at 10, so I can ask that roommate for help. No one else knows their friends' schedules like that, I feel like. But I do because I rely on them for things. Planning my day starts the night before rather than in the morning. I'm thinking about whether I want to have a roommate put my hair up in a braid and then sleep in that braid so that I wake up and my hair's already done and ready, and then I don't have to wonder if someone's around to help. When I wake up the next day, I'm thinking about my outfit, hoping that someone is available to help me. I'm thinking about my back brace and hope that in the evening someone is free to help me take it off. It's not about just what I want to eat that morning. It's about, do I have enough time to make eggs, which is usually a quick breakfast for most people, but for me can take like 30 minutes from start to finish. Putting on a coat is not something that's easy for me, so I have to think about, would I rather just go outside in the cold without a coat because it's easier to do that than put a coat on, see if someone can help me zip it, and struggle with getting my backpack on over it. Sometimes I would rather just go out in the cold than deal with the whole coat situation. I get my hair done at a salon since it's too hard for me to do by myself. But I have to fit that into my schedule and make sure that I'm able to have time to walk to the hair salon and have my 30-minute appointment and walk back to where I am. Since I can't drive without adaptations, that makes getting a car a lot more difficult for me. It would cost about $50,000 to $60,000, and that does not include the vehicle. It's wild to me that people can just go out and get a car and then they have that freedom. When I go to bed every night, I start the whole planning process again. None of those thoughts are crossing a non-disabled person's mind. I had planned the night before my outfit and was like, all right, I'm gonna wear this top. A roommate or two might be there to help me in the morning with tying it. When I woke up, I just went out to the kitchen in my PJs and asked my roommate who was out there, if I put on a top that has ties that need to be tied, would you be able to help me with it? And she was like, I'm kind of rushing to eat my breakfast. So I was like, okay, I'll ask the other roommate. I eventually got a hold of my other roommate and told her that the first roommate would not help me with the top. And she was like, oh, well, that's okay. I told her, I was like, well, it's just sad when people tell me no, because then I'm left wondering, what am I supposed to do? And she just kind of laughed, which I kind of took as her not really knowing what to say. It just went through me, just the fact that I realized these two roommates weren't really thinking about how I felt in that situation. I went to the bathroom and I was just bawling. I'm an easy crier with happy emotional things, but not usually those types of things. If I'm crying like that, it just means I'm so frustrated. And I think a lot of people would look at this and be like, who cares? It's just a top, it's trivial. But it's the fact that I never get to do things on my own schedule. Even my friends that I've known for a while who live with me, know me extremely well, don't get it. I used to say that my disability was an invisible disability. I thought when people looked at me, they wouldn't really see me as disabled, they wouldn't notice my disability. I have come to realize that me saying my disability is invisible or non-apparent really centers how others might view me versus how I view myself. I know my disability is not invisible or non-apparent. I want to center how I feel about it and not how onlookers might feel about my disability. Being a parent, but not what most people would think of as a parent, kind of creates this unique situation where I feel like although my disability is apparent, people can sort of put it out of their minds if they wish. I want to be seen as the physically disabled young woman that I am, along with all of my other identities and things about my personality. I think when people try to put it out of their mind or not address it, that sends the message that disability is something to be ashamed of or something we shouldn't be thinking about. I am really proud of myself for doing my day-to-day. Sometimes I'll be going through my day and I'll be like, wow, I have dealt with so much today. And I'm really proud of myself for that. Being able to just go about my day genuinely happy. There's the stigma of disability with people thinking if you're disabled, you must be miserable all the time and you can't enjoy your life. I love pushing back at that because it's not true. I am happy being where I am. I'm happy with all these friends I have and going through college. But the disabled grief is something that I've not dove into as much. With my disability happening when I was 8 years old, I didn't quite understand everything. I think back on certain things now and I'm like, whoa, that is crazy that for one thing even happened, but then also I just kind of moved past that. I do think I have medical trauma and anxiety that I've never really thought too deeply about or addressed. And I think my ability to be resilient since I was an 8-year-old, and kids are just really resilient naturally, allowed me to not dwell on things. But at the same time, I never really let myself sit with that disabled grief too much. I did go through a period for about 4 years. I was sort of mourning my life before I was disabled. Then I had a Make-A-Wish when I was 12 to meet One Direction. That really changed my life for the better because I had a positive experience come out of being disabled. I think now as a 22-year-old, when I have these challenges and recognize them, I do let myself take the time to be like, wow, this sucks. It's good that I do that. I am being more authentic and true to myself when I sit down and realize like, wow, even when dealing with all this shit, I am still genuinely happy. That is what I'm really proud of. I shared these feelings with a friend of mine a couple months ago. She was like, wow, if you hadn't said any of this to me, I never would have considered this. I would have just thought, wow, she has it all figured out. I do think there is a way to show that, yes, I love my life. It's amazing. I wouldn't want to live another life, but also show that amidst all that, there are things that are difficult, and that doesn't mean I love my life any less. Struggling doesn't mean that you don't have your life figured out. It's something that you are working with, something that you can embrace and run with. But again, it's still frustrating. It can all be true at the same time.